So, what if I told you the secret to building the world's most valuable company wasn't about adding more, but about taking almost everything away? Today, we're going to dig into the one single, counterintuitive principle that Steve Jobs used to pull Apple back from the absolute brink of death. And trust me, this isn't just some dusty history lesson. It is a playbook for radical focus. So let's just start with this one central question, right? How on earth did a company that was literally 90 days from going bankrupt become the most valuable company in the world? Back in 1997, Apple was on life support. The company was a joke, its stock was basically worthless. So, how did this famous failure stage one of the greatest comebacks in business history? Well, the answer is a lot simpler and way more brutal than you probably think. So, what was the first big thing Steve Jobs did when he came back to Apple? You might think it was to launch some revolutionary new product. But no, his first move was to subtract. He took a giant red pen to the company's ridiculously bloated product line and just killed 70% of it. Gone. Now, to the outside world, this looked like corporate suicide, but it was actually the first step to salvation. To really get just how radical that move was, you have to understand the sheer panic and desperation of that moment. So let's take a quick look at just how bad things had really gotten for Apple. I mean, by the mid-90s, the situation was just dire. The stock had completely hit rock bottom. Competitors, critics, everyone was basically writing the company's obituary. And by the time Jobs actually walked back through the doors, the clock was ticking. They had about 3 months of cash left. That's it, before they'd have to shut everything down for good. This wasn't just a slump, it was a total, absolute freefall. So you have to ask, what was the root cause of this whole disaster? It wasn't bad engineering. Apple still had smart people. It wasn't a lack of ideas. No, it was something way more insidious. It was the chaos of complexity. Here's the crucial point. Apple had no idea who it was anymore. You see, without a clear vision, the company was trying to be everything to everyone. It was chasing every possible market, building every conceivable product, and because of that, it was failing at all of it. It's a classic symptom of a company that has completely lost its way, lost its identity. Just look at this list. Seriously, it's supposed to be confusing because that was exactly the experience for customers. There were dozens of models with these cryptic names, different printers, scanners. They even had a video game console. This wasn't a product line. It was a strategic mess that was just paralyzing the entire company. And into all of this chaos, Jobs brought one single clarifying weapon. It wasn't a new product. It wasn't some brilliant marketing plan. Not at first anyway. It was simply the power of saying no. And this, right here, this gets to the absolute core lesson. You know, we're all taught that leadership is about adding more features, more projects, more headcount. But Jobs understood a fundamental truth. Genius isn't just about what you create. It's about what you're willing to destroy. A leader's most powerful tool is often subtraction, not addition. Okay, so how did he decide what to cut and what to keep? He didn't use some complex spreadsheet or a team of consultants. Nope. He used a simple, elegant framework that anyone could understand in about 5 seconds. The story goes he just walked up to a whiteboard and drew this, a simple 2x2 grid. On the top, consumer and professional. On the side, desktop and portable. His new plan? Apple would make only one amazing product for each of these 4 boxes. That's it. Everything else was canceled. That single clarifying act saved the company. And with this newfound focus, for the first time in years, Apple could finally gather all of its dwindling resources, all of its best engineers, its best designers, its best marketers, and place one massive, all-in bet to save the entire company. And that bet was the iMac. You can literally see the new strategy come to life in the iMac. Just think about it for a second. The rest of the industry was selling these boring, beige boxes with endless, confusing options. Apple did the exact opposite. The iMac came in vibrant colors, it was super simple to set up, and it wasn't for everyone. It was a focused product for a specific customer, and because of that, it became an absolute smash hit. Okay, so this is a fantastic story, but the real power here is figuring out how to apply this principle ourselves. Because it's not just for tech CEOs, right? This is a tool for any team, any project, heck, even any personal goal you might have. So let's just define it nice and clear. Radical focus, it's the discipline of ruthlessly defining and pursuing your single most important goal while having the courage to eliminate everything else. It's not about having a list of priorities, it's about having one priority that everything else has to serve. So here's a simple 4-step guide to actually put this into practice. First, you have to identify your team's one thing. What is it? Second, you have to ruthlessly, and I mean ruthlessly, eliminate what's merely good but not great. Third, you communicate a compelling vision around that one thing. And finally, you create rituals to actually maintain that focus day in and day out. And here's how you make it real. Start with a simple litmus test. Can every single person on your team state the main goal in one sentence? Next, run a project audit. For every task, every project, you have to ask, does this directly serve our one thing? And if the answer is no, you kill it. Then you have to explain the why behind the goal, connect it to a bigger mission. And finally, build those rituals, daily huddles, weekly reviews, to keep that one thing front and center always. So I'll just leave you with this thought. True focus isn't just about what you decide to do. It's really defined by the good things you have the courage not to do. So ask yourself, in your work or in your life, what is the one good thing you need to say no to so you can finally make room for something truly great?